see, Shastrically, actually, this verses Tirumara, he's talking about something that is very deep, which means experience. I had experience of what this material world is, and I don't want it anymore. I'm a little bit fed up. How many of us, when we come to the spiritual path, actually we become completely fed up of the material world? I'm here, living my life, I have conquered so many things, I have get so many things, but at the end, what is the price of all these things? Actually, the spiritual path, as Krishna he states in the Bhagavad Gita, it's all based on pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means the experiences. When Krishna he talks with Arjuna, he says this famous verse, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Pavitram Idam Tamam, Pratyaksha Idam Kamyam, Dharmyam, Susukam Kartaviyayam. Arjuna, this knowledge that I'm giving to you is a Raja, he's a king. And he's Guhyam. He has all kinds of secrets on that. There's so many secrets into it. But there's also Pratyaksha. If you learn how to experience this knowledge, Susukam Kartaviyayam, Sukha. Sukha means happiness. You will start to have some joy in your life. Life will not become something cheap. The point is that in this material world, we have the tendency to be more guided by the mind instead of the heart. That's why so many times, sometimes talking with Guruji, he says we come to this conclusion, oh, look at this devotee, he had an amazing experience. He had, he could have your feet, Guruji, into his head at any moment of his life. But then still he left the path, or was so earning to have such association. And why all these things happen? Because you know how hard it is, these 40 centimeters that Guruji often talk, the path of 40 centimeters that is from the mind to the heart. When we talk about heart, when we talk about the experiences that comes in the heart, it's not what comes in the mind. Mind is tricky, as Krishna he says in the Bhagavad Gita. Actually, Arjuna he says it to Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita when he says, Chanchala Himana Krishna. Krishna, you were telling me so many beautiful knowledge, but my mind is restless. It's chanchala, it's completely chanchala. You were talking about so many beautiful subjects, but what is the use if the mind cannot comprehend? And the point that makes mind to not comprehend, because mind always will like to, like a cheating chat, always will be cheating chat, always will be talking some things to cheat you. And Krishna, where Krishna he resides in the heart. And because Krishna he resides in the heart, he knows well what he's telling to Arjuna. When he says this pratyaksha, when he says these experiences that comes from the heart, this is so deep. Why it's so deep? Because you had experienced Krishna, okay? You had a beautiful experience with Guruji in your life. Each one of you had one particular experience. That's what makes you to come for Jasoval festival, to have the darshan of the deities, to chant the mantras. Each one of us, we had some kind. But what do these experiences mean? First, I want to share about it. Second, I'm grateful for it. And third one, I also want others to have the same experience. Because if other people cannot have the desire, this yearning to have such experience in their life, what will happen? It will just be like a gossip. You heard what happened to Prito, you heard what happened to Swami Revatikanta, you heard what had happened to someone's life. But what had happened to your life that will make you to change? So in this verse, Tirumalu Alvar, he's talking about something very deep, because he says, okay, look, I know how material world is. In the Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapter 25, verse 26, says, Bhaktya jato parimam aindriyaha, which means that a person that had experienced bhakti, this person will never look for something external again. It's not possible. You had to find a higher taste. Why? I had to find a higher taste. But why I'm still looking like Dhruva Maharaj? Dhruva Maharaj, when he started to do so much tapasya, so much austerities, but for what? He was doing all this tapasya because he wanted to have a kingdom bigger, a planet actually, bigger than his own grandfather. And he started to do all this tapasya. And then when Narayana comes in front of him, he says, I did a mistake. I was looking for a broken glass among the diamonds. Imagine, you have a lot of diamonds in front of you, but no, I want to choose for the glass one. The sense of logic is completely lost. So, pratyaksha, experience that comes from the heart, it's become something more deep. And why it's more deep? Because you want to share it with others. You become grateful. That experience is not something cheap for you. Because it's not through the senses. Our sense is full of limitation. The sense is full of limitation. You can come here and say, oh, I'm looking to Narasimhadeva, and suddenly I see that Narasimhadeva is blinking at me. Okay, maybe he's blinking at you. But is your eye so perfect that if I turn all this light off, you will be able still to keep looking to his eyes? Or you will see everything dark? So that's why pratyaksha, experiences from the mind, is illusion. But the pratyaksha from the heart, experiences that comes from the heart, this is something that is really deep. That's why Krishna, when he says Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam, he said, look, I'm giving this knowledge to you. It's Guhyam, it's a secret. Learn it, experience it. Why? Because then your life will be Susukam Kartua Vyayam. Will be full of joy. It will be everlasting. It will not be something that is cheap and just for some single moment. Once I was walking with Guruji, this year actually I was walking with Guruji in Hong Kong. And we were walking and was the street full of bars and restaurants. And the people lining up to go inside of the bar, to go inside of the restaurant, having your cigarette, having your girl, your boyfriend, and just in this material life. And then Guruji, he literally became sad. He turned like into a really sad mood. And he put his face a bit down, and he was walking. And then I just like came on the same speed. He looked at me, he said, how people waste their life. I'm like, look at how people they waste their life. I'm shocked. So much opportunity. So that's why this spiritual path is compared to this, let's say, crystal jewel. You know, this really unique jewel. It's a Chintamani. What means Chintamani? Chintamani means that stone, that everything that you touch is turned into gold. So, association with the devotees, chanting the holy names, doing the sadhana, be into such association like this festival, is at the end is for you to experience this higher taste of spiritual life into your heart, not into your mind. The satsangas of Guruji, you should not try to understand the satsangas of Guruji with the mind. You should try to understand with the heart. And how you know that it's touching to your heart? Simply because you start to have the desire to share with others. Like when Prahlada Maharaj. Prahlada Maharaj, he was touched by his guru, Narada Muni. He was in the womb of his mother. He listened to the glories of Krishna, the glories of Narayana, and what he was doing with 5 years old. He was in the school, and he was telling, look, all of you are here. Just wanted to learn what? How to be a demon like your own parents. You just wanted to keep repeating the same mistake. No, don't waste your time. And then he says something similar to this verse. He said, lifetime, most of the half of life, people spend in the bed, sleeping. Then the another half they spend complaining, and they're trying to figure out a way to find out how they can heal themselves. So much disease. We work all hard all life, destroy our health to make money, and then we take all that money and use that money to fix the health that we itself had destroyed by working in a very illusional way. Spiritual path is not about that. It's not about like wasting time. Krishna, he is very painful to Krishna. There is a famous story of a saint. His name was Gopakumara. He was a famous saint from Jagannath Puri. And once he heard in Jagannath Puri that yes, it's possible to reach Krishna. It's possible to go. Because he listened from his guru, and he developed this desire to meet Krishna. And he started to climb into all these material and spiritual planets. And he started to go up and up and up and up. To the moment when he reached the gates of Vaikuntha. He got this blessing of like becomes able to walk. And when he reached Vaikuntha, Narayana looks at him and he said, you know, I knew that you were coming. I knew that you were making your path. I knew what time you were coming to arrive here. I knew what time you were going to arrive here to me. But there was so much anxiety. I was so much anxious to meet you, to be with you. At the same way, you know, Krishna, he's there. He's waiting for all of us. He knows that we are going to come. We are going to come to him. But he's so, he's so like longing. I want to be in the association of my devotee. Because my devotee wants to be in my association. Like these days we had the Ratha Yatra in Jagannath Puri. If you watch the Ratha Yatra in Jagannath Puri, you will see that Lord Jagannath, when he comes out from the temple, he's shaking like this. He's shaking. But why? Because he's completely drunk to the love of his devotee. And he's coming out. I want to be in association with my devotees. I want to see my devotees. And the thousands and millions of devotees come there to see him. It's exchange. Krishna is ready to exchange with all of us. But for that, it's important to have this, let's say, willingness. I'm willing to walk into your direction because I know that you are also coming to my direction. And that is exchange. Krishna, he says, there's this another famous verse from Bhagavatam where he says to Durvasa Muni, Aham Bhakta Paradino, I reside into the heart of my devotee. Why do I reside in the heart of my devotee? Because they don't have any desire for himself, but all the desires that he has is to serve me, is to love me. And I'm in debt with such a devotee. So Krishna, he becomes in debt with his devotee. And his devotee is always in debt because he knows that these experiences that he can have, he can experience into his heart. This pratyaksha, but that comes from the heart, not the one that comes from the mind. This is priceless. And he knows exactly, okay, when that Vaishnava, that devotee comes to me, I will be there waiting for him. And the devotee knows that Krishna is coming to him, and I'm coming to Krishna. And there's this reciprocation. So we have the chance. No. I remember my first experience with Guruji without knowing Guruji. I had shared many times, but first I had to take away my life from the spiritual path. I was not living the spiritual path anymore. Just imagine, you grew up in the Vaishnava family, Vaishnava tradition, and then suddenly say, okay, Krishna, I'm fed up of this path. I don't want it anymore. I will just turn this, I will close this door, because this door is not interesting for me anymore. And then I had to close this door. But the Krishna, he keeps his door still open. You cannot be looking at him, but he's looking at you. And then I remember one night, I have a very weird dream. And in this dream, I was walking on the platform. It was like a golden platform. And there was a beautiful Singhasana, like this one, Vyasasana. And then there was Jesus sitting there. And I said, oh, Lord Jesus, how are you? Jai Prabhu, Jai Gurudeva. And he said to me, in my dream, you know how many times when you were playing Mridanga, Krishna was smiling? I was like, wow, nice. Then I wake up. I took my dog, I went to walk around the city. And then I was walking with the dog did poo-poo, you have to clean. Then I went to clean, something in my mind. I didn't give you hands to clean dog shit.
Wow.
And just came back. Then a few days later, I had my first dream with Guruji. He comes in my dream, I don't know who is him. He comes in my dream with that beautiful green kurta, looks at me and says, don't worry, everything will be fine soon. So, wake up, started to scroll the Facebook. At 2:15 a.m., I find a picture of Guruji on the First Just Love Festival with the same green kurta that he had come in my dream 15 minutes before. I'm just making short of the story, but it's that. Krishna is looking at you. All what you need is to have the willingness. Once I asked Guruji, what is impossible for God? And he said, the only thing that is completely impossible for God is to change your life. Because He will only change your life if you have the willingness for that. He cannot interfere. God cannot interfere. Because sometimes it would be easy. Oh, look at that person, he's going the wrong path. Guruji, look, he's going the wrong path, do something. And Guruji, the person realize and come back. No, he wants to go in that path. That's also pratyaksha. When we are talking about brahmanas, who have done the teacher training, have heard about this anumana, shabda, and pratyaksha. Anumana, just bring it to the simple language. You hear someone saying, if you put your hand on the fire, it will burn. You will listen. It's one kind of perception. Another kind of perception to you to learn Shabda. You can take the book, you read. If you put your hand on the fire, it will burn. And that is a pratyaksha. Pratyaksha is that 3 years old child who see the flame. What is that? And you put the hand and it burns. That's when you have this experience. Of course, in this material world, it's much easier because we are not able to listen. How many times, like Guruji in the last Shandilya Bhakti Sutra, he said, I have been here for 1 week throwing my words. I hope you have grabbed one. Because we don't have the capacity to listen. We don't know how to listen. Sorry. I also don't know how to listen. It's very difficult to listen. That's why Krishna, he gives this chance for us to experience. But even when we experience something, our brain not keep even 80% of what we had experienced. We don't keep even 80%. We don't keep even, we keep more around like 20%. That's why always when someone is sharing the experience, you say, oh, but you didn't mention this part because I had to listen to this experience in another direction, and this part is missing because the mind, the brain, has a lot of limitation, and we don't know how to access it. But it's important to learn how to dive into it. So now is a chance. Just Love Festival, we are here in Germany with Gurudeva, with the deities, with the name, the holy names, with the saints, with the Vaishnavas, with all this atmosphere. But don't make it cheap. Don't just leave this reality here. No. Bring the Just Love Festival to your house, to your work, to your business, to your school, to your university, wherever you go. Even if you have to go to the most hardest place, the hospital, the death, but you are coming with the Just Love, you know? Because that's the greatness of a devotee. The devotee, he carried with him, he's carrying with him exactly what he had received. And what we are receiving? Grace, bliss, joy, success in life. That's it. Very simple. Jai Gurudev.